Have you ever felt that some attitudes or behaviors around you drain your energy? That certain patterns sometimes pull you down, even when you try to rise up. Today we will reflect on the words and teachings of dear Padre Pio, a man who dedicated his life to faith, love, and the incessant search for a higher purpose. In this video, we'll discover 5 things he warned us to never accept from anyone, because they can open the door to poverty and misfortune in our lives. It is not just material issues, but mainly spiritual ones. Let's go on this journey together. Never accept disrespect for your dignity. Padre Pio taught us that dignity is a gift from God, something given to us from the moment we were born. When someone disrespects your dignity, they are disrespecting something sacred. He said, God created us in his image and likeness. Therefore, each of us carries a divine spark. If we allow others to trample on our self-esteem, we are, in a way, allowing them to trample on this divine gift that we carry. But disrespect is not always obvious. It can come in small actions, like when someone underestimates what you do, ignores your opinion, or makes you believe you're not capable. Accepting this is like opening a door for negative energies to enter your life. Poverty, in this context, can be emotional, a heart that suffers in silence, weakened by the weight of contempt. Remember, never accept less than the respect you deserve. Padre Pio said that the strength to stand up against disrespect comes from prayer and the awareness of God's infinite love for us. Never accept lies or falsehoods. Lies for Padre Pio were like poisons. He believed they had the power to destroy bonds, corrupt hearts, and create a spiritual void in people's lives. Padre Pio said, "Truth is the basis of everything. Without it, there is no trust. And without trust, there is no love." When you accept lies, whether by believing them or letting them pass without being confronted, you allow a shadow to settle in your life. This shadow can attract not only distrust, but also bad choices and a departure from inner peace. Padre Pio advised us to always seek the light of truth, no matter how painful it may seem at the moment. Accepting falsehoods in any form is building your life on an unstable foundation, and sooner or later, this can lead to profound losses, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual. These are Padre Pio's first 2 important warnings. Have you ever noticed how accepting these things can bring profound harm to our lives? Stay with me, because in the next blocks we'll explore 3 more behaviors he taught us to avoid. They can completely change the way you see the relationships around you and help protect your peace and prosperity. Now that we have reflected on disrespect for dignity and lies, let's move on to 2 other behaviors that Padre Pio warned us to avoid. These attitudes, when accepted, can block prosperity in our lives and open doors to misfortune. Prepare your heart for this reflection, because these points will take us even deeper into the wisdom of the Capuchin saint. Never accept envy or resentment. Padre Pio taught that the human heart is like a sacred vessel. What we place inside it will determine the quality of our life. And he was firm in saying that accepting feelings of envy or resentment, whether coming from others or within ourselves, is like filling that vessel with dirty water. He said, envy is an open door to unhappiness. When you allow it in, you are telling God that what he has given you is not enough. Envy, when directed at us by third parties, can manifest itself in subtle ways, disguise criticism, silent contempt, or even passive-aggressive attitudes. If we accept these energies, we end up absorbing them, letting them contaminate our spirit. On the other hand, resentment is also a poison, but it is one that we drink while we wait for the other person to suffer. Padre Pio warned us that holding on to sorrows, without seeking forgiveness, closes our hearts to love and prosperity. It's like carrying an invisible weight that drains our strength. What to do then? Padre Pio said that the cure for these evils lies in prayer and the practice of forgiveness. It's not easy, but it's freeing. When you let go of envy and resentment, You make room for God to pour blessings into your life. Never accept neglect of faith. Padre Pio always emphasized the importance of keeping our faith alive. He said that faith is like a flame. If we don't feed it, it weakens until it goes out. Neglecting faith, whether in God, our beliefs, or ourselves, is leaving room for despair and lack of purpose. But here's an important point. Neglecting faith doesn't just mean stopping praying or stopping going to church. This also happens when we allow the doubts and worries of the world to erase the trust we have in divine providence. Padre Pio said, "Whoever trusts in God will never be abandoned, even in the darkest moments." When we accept that faith becomes secondary, we allow anxiety and uncertainty to take over. Prosperity is not just a material issue. It is directly linked to peace of mind, and this peace can only be found when we put God at the center of our lives. Therefore, never neglect your faith and never accept that others around you weaken your spirituality. Feed this flame daily, even if it is with small gestures, such as a prayer when you wake up or a moment of gratitude at the end of the day. These were the next two things that Padre Pio taught us never to accept: envy, which corrodes the spirit, and neglect of faith, which separates us from God. And you? Can you see how these attitudes can profoundly impact your life? We have already reflected on disrespect for dignity, lies, envy, resentment, and neglect of faith. Now let's delve into one last teaching of Padre Pio that warns us against something that we often accept without realizing it, but that can cause misfortune and keep blessings away. Prepare yourself for this reflection, as it could be a turning point in the way you view your life. Never accept a lack of gratitude. Padre Pio said that gratitude is a fundamental virtue, a simple but powerful gesture that can transform lives. He believed that a lack of gratitude is one of the most serious forms of ingratitude towards God and the people around us. When you accept a lack of gratitude, whether it comes from others or worse, in your own heart, you close the door to abundance. Padre Pio said, "A grateful heart attracts divine grace. An ungrateful heart attracts emptiness." Gratitude is not just saying thank you out of obligation. It is recognizing God's generosity in your life, even in the most difficult times. It is also an act of humility, a reminder that we are not self-sufficient. On the other hand, accepting that others repeatedly show ingratitude can create a cycle of devaluation and resentment. Padre Pio advised us to offer love and kindness without expecting a return, but also to distance ourselves from those who constantly ignore or disrespect these gestures. The practice of gratitude is transformative. When you thank God, even for small blessings, you align yourself with spiritual and material prosperity. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. Sooner or later, the fruits will come. Now that we have gone through Padre Pio's 5 teachings, I want to invite you to reflect. Is there something in your life that you have accepted, but that is blocking your peace, your prosperity, and your purpose? How about making a commitment today? A commitment to protect your peace, strengthen your faith, and live with purpose. Padre Pio said, "Don't worry about excesses. Leave everything in God's hands and live one day at a time with love and faith." If you felt like these words touched your heart, share this video with someone you love. Let's spread these teachings together and help more people find the path to a life of peace and prosperity.